Welcome to Incredible, where we discover the weird and wonderful in this world. We've heard all about monks who can perform superhuman feats such as enduring extremes in temperature, slowing their metabolism, and performing incredible feats of strength. However, are these stories true? And what other remarkable abilities do they claim to possess? Just to be certain, don't try any of these stunts yourself. There are a number of monks who are said to have mastered their minds and bodies to perfection. This includes Shaolin monks, Buddhist monks, and Indian monks. While some stories border on the fantastic, such as monks achieving the ability to fly, others are somewhat more credible. As we're about to see, monks boast some abilities which often appear to be nothing less than superhuman. Number 1. Super Strength. Anyone who follows or practices martial arts knows that martial artists can condition their bodies to the point where they can break boards and even bricks with their hands, feet, and heads. Just imagine those feats and amplify them tenfold, and you'll get a picture of monks doing some crazy-ass stunts, courtesy of a transformation known as the Iron Body. For example, one video features a monk cracking a brick in half with the flat of his hand. Number 2. A sixth sense. While people are familiar with the 5 senses of sight, hearing, touch, taste, and smell, Buddhists believe in a sixth sense, our minds. Buddhists treat the mind like a sense faculty, the sixth sense if you will. Nowadays, we would say mind is in the brain. In traditional Theravada teachings, though, it's a living heart. Indeed, throughout Asia, people typically consider mind, manas, or siddha to be in the heart. While this is a gross simplification, the Buddhist idea of the mind as a sixth sense is a sensory power that can be developed to detect danger when there is no visible sign, and according to some beliefs, to even sense future events. Number 3. Superhuman Endurance. Running a marathon is an incredible accomplishment. Picture someone running 1,000 marathons in 1,000 days. Is such a feat possible? Legend has it that the monks of Mount Hiei run 1,000 marathons in 1,000 days in their quest to reach enlightenment. Those who succeed become revered as human Buddhas or living saints. It's rare that a monk embarks on the 1,000-day challenge, or Kaihogyo, and even rarer that one completes it. In the last 130 years, only 46 men have managed it. Is this a legend or something that's actually happened? Reporter Adharanand Finn traveled to Japan to obtain an audience with a Buddhist monk who reportedly completed this challenge. Along the way, Finn discovered a monk who has completed the 1,000 marathons still has a final challenge. At the end of their quest, the monks enter a darkened room where they spend 9 days without food, water, or sleep. The idea is to bring the body as close as possible to death. Once they complete the challenge, they are given the title of Daigyomen Ajari, or Saintly Master of the Highest Practice. The purpose of the 1,000 days is to empty one's mind and body and seek that all-important question, why we are alive. The monk told Finn that it is only the beginning of an individual's learning experience. Number 4. Iron Skin. The Iron Body skill can be used for destructive purposes, but it can also protect a Shaolin monk from harm. One feat is the ability to seemingly place one's body on spears without harm. In one display, a monk lies on 3 spears while a colleague takes a board, places it on their back, and drives a hammer into it. The monk emerges with no sign of harm. Skeptics argue this is an illusion or that the spears are somehow gimmicked to prevent injury. If you don't believe that one, then how about this? A monk is able to take a power drill and press it against their head for 10 seconds without the drill going in. Number 5. Resisting the elements. If a monk can achieve a type of superhuman resistance to damage from weapons, what about one of mankind's greatest natural enemies, the elements themselves? Apparently, monks have developed techniques for toughening their bodies to resist the cold. This ability is part of a meditative practice known as Tummo, aka Inner Fire. According to the site Wim Hof Method, Tummo exists of a combination of breathing and visualization techniques used to enter a deep state of meditation that is used to increase a person's inner heat. This inner heat enables someone to control one's body temperature, for example, keeping the body warm in cold conditions. If you saw our recent video on people who survived situations that should have killed them, you'll recall a mountaineer who was left for dead at the top of Mount Everest only to meditate his way through a killing cold that should have iced him. Number 6. Drying wet objects. If monks are capable of resisting extreme cold, it's also not a stretch to believe that they have some sort of ability to generate heat. This feat was observed by researchers from Harvard University and included the following. In a monastery in northern India, thinly clad Tibetan monks sat quietly in a room where the temperature was a chilly 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Using a yoga technique known as Ji Tumo, they entered a state of deep meditation. Other monks soaked 3 by 6 foot sheets in cold water and placed them over the meditator's shoulders. For untrained people, such frigid wrappings would produce uncontrolled shivering. If body temperatures continue to drop under these conditions, death can result. But it was not long before steam began rising from the sheets. As a result of body heat produced by the monks during meditation, the sheets dried in about an hour. Number 7. Slowing your metabolism. If you look at these feats, you'll notice the common thread of monks somehow exercising complete control over their body's functions. Should it be any surprise that monks can also slow down their body's metabolism? According to one report, a group of monks in India were shown to be able to slow their metabolism down by 64% while maintaining consciousness, something that allowed the monks to go without any food for extended periods of time that would see the average person starve to death. Number 8. Immortality. While the concept of a human being living forever is found in several world religions, the idea of attaining immortality on Earth seems far-fetched. Consider the story of Dashi Dorshu Itigliov, a famous spiritual figure in Tsarist Russia. The famous Lama died in 1927, the year after warning Buddhist monks to leave the Soviet Union because they would be overwhelmed by red teaching. His final request was to be buried in the lotus position in which he had died. When his remains were examined in 1955 and again in 1973, the monks were astonished to note no signs of decay. In September 2002, Itigilov's body was exhumed once more in the presence of the leaders of the Buddhist Traditional Sangha of Russia. It was closely examined by monks as well as by scientists and pathologists. The remains were found to be in the condition of someone who had died 36 hours ago. Extraordinarily well preserved and without signs of decay. Muscles and inner tissue, soft joints, and skin remained intact, according to the accounts of the observations. But where things get spooky is an incident from October 2016 in which the Lama's body was seen moving on 2 different nights. Did the monk put himself into some form of hibernation, waiting for the time when he was needed? Or was this a hoax? Number 9. Speeding across water. Here, a monk named Chi is able to run across 125 meters of floating wood planks. To be fair, this would be much more difficult as, say, walking on water, but unless you know someone who can do it who isn't in the Bible, running across the water, even with the aid of floating planks, still makes the list. Number 10. Throwing a needle through glass. Last, let's look at an impressive demonstration by Shaolin monk Feng Fei, who throws a needle through a pane of glass and pierces it, breaking a balloon. This feat is noteworthy because it shows how there may be a scientific explanation for an astounding accomplishment. According to the website Live Science, in some of the slow-motion shots of the ultra-fast trick, it appears that the needle actually sticks through the pane. In others, it looks like it just cracks the glass with enough force to send shards flying into the balloon. This feat isn't easily accomplished, but is it due to years of training or some sort of shortcut achieved by knowledge of the structure of glass? While Incredible will let you decide for yourself, consider some comments from Cornell University theoretical physicist James Sethna, who shared his knowledge of glass and, more importantly, his study on how glass resists breaking. Glass is extremely tough to break unless it has a crack. As soon as it develops a crack, it's very weak. The scientist remarked that the trick to putting a needle through glass is this: a firm needle thrown hard enough to meaningfully crack the glass. Once a deep crack has been made, it won't take much force at all to carry it the rest of the way through. Do you think these monks are truly capable of these incredible feats, or are they achieved through sleight of hand or a science known to a select few?